Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur, and we gotta talk about Facebook right now because Facebook is a company that I have a definite love-hate relationship with. On one hand, it has made it easier to connect with people and friends who I have not spoken to for many years. On the other hand, it makes, I think, people way more socially disconnected. On a business standpoint, Facebook is a really good way to share my videos, my content. It has helped me tremendously in all my business ventures. On the negative, because of that, I can't fully disconnect from it even when I find myself liking the product less and especially liking what it does in my life less. And of course, Facebook has a mentality that Uber and Amazon and all the companies that I tremendously dislike for these reasons, they have it too, and it leaked in a memo, and I was so furious with it. I wanted to talk about it right away, but I got caught up in other things. But since Uber's kind of taking a little bit of a day off with the big news stories, I think now's the time to address it, especially since everyone's digested it and it's just not good. So, anyway, according to the Vanity Fair article, each time a fresh scandal plays out at Facebook, the company positions itself as playing catch-up. Apparently alarmed and dismayed at the ready spread of fake news on its platform, which, yeah, I don't know, the fake news thing, I'm not even going to get into that. Facebook de-emphasized posts from media companies. Faced with a decline in user trust, Facebook admitted it might be inherently damaging to democracy. And when a Cambridge Analytica contractor was found to have siphoned data from millions of Facebook users through an app, the company retroactively promised to fix the problem. But an internal memo written in June 2016 by top Facebook executive Andrew Bosworth, a close confidant of Mark Zuckerberg's, and published by BuzzFeed News on Thursday, all but blows up the naiveness the company has cultivated, suggesting that Facebook has always been aware of the potential for bad actors to abuse it and has actively chosen to disguise those concerns from the public. I can't talk right now. I hate it when I can't talk. And for those of you who have not read the memo, by the way, this is where it gets explosive. In the memo, Bosworth argued that Facebook could very well be used to bully or coordinate acts of terrorism, but that the company's mission, connecting people, should take precedent over the possibility of such negative outcomes. Quote, "That's why all the work we do in growth is justified," he wrote. All the questionable contact importing practices, all the subtle language that helps people stay searchable by friends, all the work we do to bring more communication in, the work we will likely have to do in China someday, all of it. The memo titled "The Ugly" was posted internally at Facebook after a Chicago man captured his own murder on Facebook. After Facebook published the memo, let's go to the published thing. Like, this is interesting. Like, here's what the memo says in full. "So we connect more people. That can be bad if they make it negative. Maybe it costs a life by exposing someone to bullies. Maybe someone dies in a terrorist attack coordinated on our tools. And still we connect people. The ugly truth is that we believe in connecting people so deeply that anything that allows us to connect to more people more often is de facto good. It is perhaps the only area where the metrics do tell the true story as far as we're concerned." Man. Sounds a lot like Travis Kalanick wrote it. I mean, gee. So, okay, let's go back. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I mean, when you have the desire to be number one so badly, you don't care that it will cost someone their lives. That's a problem. And by the way, it should be noted that Facebook, can it be used as a terrorist recruitment tool? Yes. So can YouTube, so can Twitter. Pretty much any form of social communication can be used as a recruitment tool. It's probably just more concerning because back then the recruitment was a lot more underground, and there was a lot of sickos who felt a way that never came in contact with other people who felt that way. Now, oh boy. Now, those sickos realize there are more people who are just as sick as they are, and now they can connect. And that, yeah. And I don't know how much fault Facebook has for that. I mean, their product is we connect people. I mean, it's I mean, and it's like a steak knife, it's like a gun, it's like a car. It's a practical tool that most people can use, and you just hope that the person you're selling it to doesn't use it for nefarious reasons. Anyway, let's go back down here a little bit and continue the article. After BuzzFeed published the memo, Bosworth, who is now the VP of Customer Hardware at Facebook and who has taken on Twitter time and time again to defend the company as it faces new rounds of controversies, said he didn't agree with his own thoughts, even as he wrote this should be good. Quote, "The purpose of this post, like many others I have written internally, was to bring the surface issues I felt deserved more discussion with the broader company," he said. In other words, he argued, the post was a thought exercise meant to provoke rather than a legitimately held viewpoint. Yeah, except I've read a lot of work memos, and you probably have too if you work at any point in the workforce. And the thing about work memos is that they are usually written without the intention that anyone is going to read them. So they are more frank, they are most honest. Sometimes even include things like bad language and, just terrible things because, hey, they're distributing it internally. It's not supposed to go out. So I don't buy that he didn't agree with what he was writing. I think he fully did agree with what he was writing. And that's the problem because he's a very high-level executive at the company. Let's see here. Zuckerberg, who has been relatively quiet following his mea culpa tour last week, distanced himself from Boz's comments. Quote, "Boz is a talented leader who says many provocative things. This was one that most people at Facebook, including myself, disagreed with strongly. We've never believed the ends justifies the means. And yet, you left this guy in a position of power. This is a guy who just stated something you disagree with so much. Like, oh no, none of us agree with this. This is not what it means. The end does not justify the means. The means do not justify the end, or however the heck you want. Ugh, I can't talk. And yet you left him in power? You left him in power. I mean, that makes as much sense as leaving in a flub when you're making a video, when you have ample time to edit it out so that no one can see how ridiculous you look. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why you do it. I mean, I guess people do it, but it doesn't make sense. And again, this guy is running your company. You don't want a person like that in a position of power. So, within Facebook itself, the memo's release sparked an upheaval, with several Facebook employees calling for the company to ramp up its war on leakers. Oh yeah, no, God forbid that you actually say, hey, maybe our philosophy is a little screwed up. No. Let's tighten down on the leakers. Yeah, that's where the problem is. According to internal conversations obtained by The Verge, quote, "This is so disappointing. Wonder if there's a way to hire for integrity. We are probably focusing on the intelligence part and getting smart people here who lack a moral compass and loyalty." On the other hand, this attitude doesn't really surprise me all that much because Facebook does collect data, and I think everyone there knows it. Apparently, there's a lot of rumors that right now the people who feel most threatened by Facebook's lack of security is Facebook employees themselves, probably because they probably criticize the company on Facebook and they work there. So anyway, let's see here. I think that's all I'm going to discuss. And what's the lesson here? Well, the lesson here is that the mentality of the win at all costs is not new. It isn't a recent thing. It's been around for a long, long time. Facebook has it. Amazon has it. Microsoft used to have it, but then Microsoft took a step back. Microsoft is an interesting case where they wanted a monopoly and then they got sued and they had to break up. But then when Apple was about to go under, I think Bill Gates acknowledged that the world would be a little worse without Apple, so he bought just enough of the company to keep him afloat. And I think Microsoft owns 2% of Apple now. So it's interesting how Microsoft had kind of changed gears to not be as power hungry as they used to be. They still want to be big, but they got to a point where they realized we don't need to win at all costs. And now Apple, they kind of have that mentality, but they're so successful, they're not, to my knowledge, well, now they probably are stepping on toes. But the thing is, companies who have that mentality to win at all costs they usually go under at some point. We see it with Uber, now we're seeing it with Facebook, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens from this point on. And as someone who is right now just so thankful to have like a new part-time job and to, be making, be able to do this, I'm kind of like, you know what, if I make this much, I really would be satisfied. Making more would be nice, but I don't need to gain the world. I just don't. And it's a shame so many companies feel that they have to. But I think this video was more philosophical or more me just shooting off random thoughts about Facebook. I still got mixed feelings about Facebook. Heck, here's a question for you guys. I took Facebook, the app, off my phone, and I still have a profile out there, which just full disclosure, I appreciate all the friend requests I'm getting, but I'm not gonna be adding people that I don't know. I've been thinking about starting a Facebook group, but I kind of want to get away from Facebook. Do you think that's wise? If you could get away from Facebook, would you? That's what I would love to know. So comment on that below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.